Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ehsan, and in today's video we're going to solve another IELTS reading test. It is better to have this book in front of you, IELTS Cambridge 16, and we're going to cover from test 1, reading passage 1, and this particular video is just about true, false, not given. Just this type of questions. Okay, questions 1 to 7. And it's better to have a pencil and take notes while watching this video and turn off any distractor such as your cell phone to have your full concentration into this video. I'm going to give you some tips and strategies to deal with this kind of problem, and it's a really good point to have a smile on your face because this is a really important note to take care of it, especially during your IELTS exam. But before we get started, if you're new here, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and also the notification bell, so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be aware of it. Let's jump into it. So as always, I split the page into two halves. On the left hand side, you can see the passage, and on the right hand side, you can see the questions relating to this passage. And we're going to cover just these 7 questions, which is true, false, not given. Okay, here this is a title, why we need to protect polar bears. It is about the protection of polar bears. Okay, and in true, false, not given, if the statement agrees with the information, you're gonna write it as true. If the statement contradicts the information, it is false. And if there is no information on this, you're gonna write it not given. So what are the tips that you had to take care of it for this kind of questions? First off, the questions and answers normally are in the same order, and maybe the most important part is to find and locate a keyword relating to question 1, because if you find where it is, you're gonna find the rest easiest, because the rest of questions, the follow-up questions, is just in the order. So probably, for example, if this one in paragraph 4, you can find it probably in paragraph 5, or maybe in the next sentence is going to be the answer for question 2. But there is an also important note to take care of it, because this is a true, false, not given. Maybe the information is not given, so it is better to detect 2 keywords for 2 questions. Okay, and maybe 3, maybe all of them, it's okay. Okay, it depends on you. For example, for question 1, polar bears suffer from, in all of the passages about polar bears, suffer from various health problems due to the buildup of fat under their skin. Fat is a really highlighted keyword that is not going to be in every sentences. Fat is really great idea to look for it, and maybe they use obesity, something like that. You have to predict what kind of paraphrasing they use in the passage. So the next question, the study done by Lee and his colleagues. It's a really easy to find. Lee and his colleagues. Again, Lee and his colleagues were the first researchers to compare polar bears and brown bears genetically. Polar bears are able to control their levels of bad cholesterol by genetic means. Female polar bears are able to survive for about 6 months without food. 6 months without food. It was found that the bones of female polar bears were very weak when they came out of their dens in spring. The polar bear's mechanism for increasing bone density could also be used by people. One day. Okay, here we go. We're going to start and scan just the passage to look for fat, and maybe this one, Lee and his colleagues. Fat, or anything paraphrased Fat is not a clear idea. You see, Lee and colleagues is completely obvious. Lee and colleagues. So this is for question 2. Maybe question 1, you can find it in paragraph 1. So with bearing this in your mind, you're going to read more carefully about paragraph 1. Because maybe the information relating to health problems and fat, you can find it in paragraph 1. With that, okay? So, fat or health problems. Fat and health problems. Fat here, 11 centimeters of fat underneath their skin, under the skin. So probably it's in here. So now I'm going to read it carefully. One reason for this is that they have up to 11 centimeters of fat underneath their skin. And here it says that, it says what? Polar bears suffer from various health problems due to the buildup of fat under their skin. Okay. Humans with comparative levels of adipose tissue would be considered obese, means again fat, but it's about humans, and would be likely to suffer from diabetes and heart disease. So this is diabetes and heart disease. This is health problems. Okay, you see how they paraphrase it, but important note to notice, this is not about the polar bears, it's about humans. Yet important word to notice, I always told you, be careful about vocabulary such as but, however, while, yet. These are the kind of vocabularies that probably you're going to find the answer after that. Yet the polar bear experiences no such consequences. So this is just about suffering from health problems. It's about humans, not about the polar bears. So the answer for the question number 1 is going to be a false. Okay, here it is that we can find the answer. Now, the study question 2. The study done by Lee and his colleagues compared different groups of polar bears. Compared different groups of polar bears. Okay. Now we had to find something relating to this. Okay. So here, a 2014 study by Shi Ping Du and his colleagues sheds light on this mystery. They compared the genetic structure of polar bears with what? With that of their closest relatives from a warmer climate. So they compared the structure of polar bears with that of their closest relatives. They did not compare different groups of polar bears. It's about comparing to their closest relatives. So again, the answer for this question is false. The next question. Again, it's about Lee and colleagues. So probably you're going to find the answer for question 3 in this paragraph, because this paragraph is about a study done by Lee and colleagues. And here it says that were the first researchers to compare polar bears and brown bears genetically. It's about first researchers. So here it says that the brown bears, this allowed them to determine the genes that have allowed polar bears to survive in one of the toughest environments on Earth. Lee and his colleagues found the polar bears had a gene known as APOB, which reduces levels of low density LDL, blah blah blah, a form of bad cholesterol. You see, bad cholesterol is ringing the bell for me, because I already highlighted the keyword bad cholesterol relating to question number 4. So there is no information in here relating to this. Lee and colleagues could be a first researchers. So the answer for this question is probably not given. Okay, in here we cannot find anything relating to this, so it's not given. And how about question 4? Polar bears are able to control their levels of bad cholesterol by genetic means. Able to control their levels of bad cholesterol. Control their levels of bad cholesterol. So, bad cholesterol, we already find it. And here it says that which reduces levels of low density lipoproteins, a form of bad cholesterol. So reduces levels of low density, which means control their levels of what? Of bad cholesterol. So it's exactly the same sentence. So this is true. The answer for this question is true. Female polar bears. So in humans, mutations of this gene are associated with increased risk of heart disease. Polar bears maybe. So there is nothing about female polar bears. Maybe the next paragraph, I don't know. The genome of the polar bear may also provide. Just look for the female polar bear. You see, you had to speed up your process of finding where is the answer. Ta-da! This is female polar bears. You see? In this way, you can save a lot of time for you. Female polar bears here. An important word to notice. However, and here it says that are able to survive for about 6 months without food. So, however, undergo extreme conditions during every pregnancy. Once autumn comes around, these females will dig maternity dens in the snow and will remain there throughout the winter, both before and after the birth of their cubes. This process results in about 6 months of fasting. 6 months of fasting, which means that they can survive for about 6 months without food. Without food means fasting. So it's exactly the same sentence. This answer is, again, this question is true. Question number 6 is again as about female polar bears. It was found that the bones of female polar bears were very weak when they came out of their dens in spring. So, where the female bears, again, follow-up sentences, have to keep themselves and their cubes alive, depleting their own calcium and calorie reserves. Despite this, important word to notice, yet, however, despite this, it's better to take a note of this actually. It's really great idea to take notes. Important vocabularies to notice in IELTS exam. Yet, however, despite this, but, these are really important. Maybe make it a little bit bigger for you to notice that. You can probably find the answer to your question after these words. And I said probably. Probably means maybe more than 80% of the time. And in different types of questions. It's not just about true, false, not given. Maybe in matching headings, it's a really great idea. So despite this, and here, I try to create videos relating to just the IELTS technique, just these notes, okay? So please, right now, make a comment if you agree with this, because some of my subscribers are already told me that make a different videos with techniques of IELTS reading exams, and in these are really important to notice in your IELTS exam, and you can find some of the questions relating to these questions. You see in here, despite these, their bones remain strong and dense. And here it says that were very weak when they came out of their dens in the spring. So they're not weak, they're strong and dense. So the answer for this question is false. And about this note, you can find the answer for the questions number 6 and of course number 1. Number 1, you find the answer after yet. Yet the polar bears experience no such consequences because the humans suffer from health problems. Okay? So this is a really great point to notice. Whenever you see these words, you had to read your passage more carefully than before, because sometimes you had to save a lot of time, and in order to do that you had to know where to look for very carefully. Okay, so this is it. And question number 7, the polar bear's mechanism for increasing bone density could also be used by people one day. So it's completely obvious. In this paragraph, we talk about female polar bears. Probably the answer for this question is about people, so it's going to be in the next paragraph. And of course, the paragraph is finished. Now about people. People, or maybe they use paraphrasing for people, human beings. Okay. Here, found an explanation for this paradox in 2009. They discovered that pregnant bears were able to increase the density of their bones. Therefore, before they started to build their dens. In addition, 6 months later, when they finally emerged from the den with their cubes, nothing about the human or people hibernating brown bears do not have this capacity and must therefore resort measure bone reformation in the following spring. If the mechanism of bone remodeling in polar bears can be understood, many bedridden humans and even astronauts could potentially benefit. So, and this means that this increasing bone density could also be used by people one day. For people, they use bedridden humans and astronauts. So the answer for this question is, of course, true. Okay guys, this is all that we're done in this video. I try to make these videos not too much long for you guys, and you will see the answer for the next questions of this reading in the next video. I hope you like it. If that's the case, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friend, and of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.